threats. He immediately dispatched Agent Strong to investigate. Following the polar bears back to their base, Strong, a flawless spy, infiltrated their secret headquarters without detection. But overconfidence often leads to trouble. While checking himself in a mirror, the recognition system flagged him as not a polar bear, triggering a full-scale alert. Captured, Agent Strong used his final moments to transmit the intelligence. It turned out the polar bear base had human detectors. This gave the president an idea. Their only hope was Bacon. But since Bacon was, frankly, a bit clumsy, the president decided to implant a combat chip in him. This was no ordinary chip. It transformed Bacon overnight into a 007-level agent, endowing him with martial arts skills, global knowledge, and an arsenal of techniques. After intensive training, few things could threaten Bacon anymore. However, the chip had a critical flaw. It caused his body to stiffen up at random intervals. To counter this, experts created an AI bee that would sting him whenever he froze. After 2 days of training, Bacon had reached an astonishing level of mastery. With that, Bacon set off with May. They arrived at the polar bear base, descending from the rooftop. The first challenge was a trap filled with infrared lasers, but for Bacon, this was a piece of cake. Just as he grabbed his favorite teddy bear, weapons sprouted all over his back. But the flickering infrared lights triggered a memory. It was the same kind of weapon that had taken his mother. Overwhelmed with fear, he turned and fled. May rushed to comfort him, but it was no use. The officials watching from behind the scenes were speechless. May tried to persuade the leadership to abort the mission, but their concerns ran deeper than she could influence. So, the mission continued. May and Bacon came under attack from an enemy aircraft. Fortunately, their plane had an emergency ejection system, but the enemy was too powerful, and they were forced down into the opponent's aircraft, ending up inside the polar bear base. They discussed how to fight back. May said they had to burn their boats and fight with their backs against the wall. Bacon, misunderstanding the phrase, thought she said fight with saliva, and promptly stuck his finger in her mouth. May stared at him in disbelief, then bit down hard, making him yelp in pain. The noise attracted guards, but May and Bacon used their camouflage to stay hidden. However, there was no signal inside the base, so they couldn't transmit any information. Bacon ventured inside through the ventilation ducts to gather intel. Since the entire base had human detection systems, only Bacon could enter. He navigated the ducts, above whirring fan blades, and just as his little AIB was about to fall, Bacon caught it in time. But soon, his stamina gave out, and he fell, luckily, landing on a beam and escaping unharmed. Inside the base, Bacon was spotted by a patrol. He quickly subdued the guard, put on his uniform, and blended into the patrol line. They arrived at an area that looked exactly like the Arctic. He immediately began searching for the polar bear's secrets, only to stumble upon the polar bear leader attempting to court a mate. Just then, the patrol discovered an intruder. The leader dispatched countless small dinosaurs to search. Thanks to the chip, Bacon was clever enough to lead a group of guards into an elevator, sealing them in with a smirk. During the ensuing struggle, he accidentally knocked into Tsuehua. As she was about to fall, he grabbed her just in time. But, as luck would have it, Bacon's chip chose that moment to malfunction. Though the bee arrived quickly to sting him, Bacon was captured by the